about the BBI. We know now that it is in Parliament. Wednesday, today as well, it's going to be discussed. Ultimately, it will return to you as the citizen. So you're going to vote either way. So you get to decide. That's the reason why we're pushing this to the last topic, and we're just going to give it like 20 minutes to just discuss the nitty-gritties. We've spoken about BBI every other time.
Right.
You know, Matangi, you start us off on this. It came to Parliament yesterday. There was a bit of drama. In fact, you were on the floor.
Yes, I
and
was.
you were quite passionate about the issue around Mithika Linturi having been arrested. But you almost also alluded to the fact that it seemed like almost a delay.
And they had a breakfast.
You're telling the people to come down and wait because he was on his way back.
Yes, Trevor. First, let me begin by lauding the team, the committee that looked at the report that was tabled in Parliament, and indeed now that the process is in the House. And we can be able to take it up from where Kenyans left it off after it went to the county assemblies, and Parliament can have its say on the matter, and then take it forward to members of the public. And you have done very well to have that first explainer, so that people understand what are their obligations in this process, and prepare themselves and know that ultimately it is the people who will have to cast their ballot and say we like it or we don't like it, and that will be the verdict. Having said that, from where you've started, yes, indeed, the process started also in the Senate as it did in the National Assembly. There was that small hiccup, as you correctly remembered yesterday, because Senator Linturi got arrested. And he explained that himself when he came back to the floor. I was on the floor because I'm the majority chief whip of the House, and Senator Linturi is one of my members on the majority side. It is my responsibility as the chief whip to ensure that every of my members is present at that particular time. And because he had been in the House, said a few things, then he left, and that report came that he has been apprehended. I had to find out why has he been apprehended, where is he, and is it related, as one of the members insinuated. And that's why I told members, calm down so that we can be able to find out. And once we did find out, eventually you saw that Senator Linturi came back to the floor and explained himself. And what we didn't want is that unnecessary interruption or hitch that would bring either those inferences, assumptions, and insinuations, and derail such a vital process that gives the House the time to deliberate without any of that smoky issues coming from nowhere. To detour or derail the mindset and thinking, and of course the outcome that should come from a debate that is sober. Having said that, because that was settled, today we are going into the second day of discussion. And yesterday what happened was that the leadership of the House, that was the majority leader and the minority leader, had their say. We had also the chairperson of the committee from the Senate side, Senator Mogeni, who also had his opportunity to take members through what the committee went through. And because my good friend and lawyer, Otiende Amolo, was a member of that committee, we agree that they did a good job in trying to walk that tightrope and balancing things in some cases which were very, very difficult. And I know that there are going to be issues that we'll discuss here, and maybe also discuss in the House that we have varying opinions about. But by and large, they did a good job, because finally, to the ultimate question, who is supposed to have the final word on this document? They answered correctly that it is the people. To the question that does this document fit into the description as required by Article 257, that it is a popular initiative, they answered to the affirmative. Yes, this is a people's document, so that let the people decide. The issues in between that arose, and Trevor, I'm sure Kenyans followed, and you followed too, from the reports that I saw in your news. There are varying opinions, and the work and responsibilities of members of Parliament is to put those opinions that they have on behalf of their people to debate. And it is that debate that finally brings out the right version of what each of our communities would want to be seen in that document, and how eventually we fit into it and go to vote for it. Of course, I'm mindful that two of the critical issues came out. One was that question of the unconstitutionality of certain clauses in that bill. And I'm one of those who will be probably speaking today on the floor of the Senate. And to some of those issues, like I've said, I agree a lot with many of them, and they've done a good job. I believe that the proponents of that document had very, very good intentions across the board to make this country a better country. Only one issue which personally I have a disagreement about is on the question of the determination and declaration by the committee that the process of delimiting the constituencies and indeed coming up with the 70 constituencies is unconstitutional. I firmly hold, with my knowledge of the law, with my interpretation of it, that there is nothing unconstitutional about the proposal to have the 70 new constituencies, not only to the extent of having them picked out and allocated to certain areas, but indeed the entire idea. And I want to say, as I conclude, Trevor, that nowhere in this document called the Constitution at any one time, because I saw what the committee had said, and I have a right to that opinion. They pegged their decision on the unconstitutionality of that provision on the question that it eats into or seems to usurp the role of the IEBC. And my firm thinking and position is that there is nowhere in this law, in the Constitution, where in the first place the Constitution ever envisaged, either directly, indirectly, insinuated or implied, that IEBC have the powers to create any constituencies. The article that is relevant from 88, which creates the IEBC, to 89, which gives it its functions, it has expressly been clear that IEBC never had in the first place the role of creating constituencies or even naming them, giving boundaries or rather delineating boundaries, yes, but creating, no. And that is why that article starts with a very clear expression that there shall be 290 constituencies in this country. So to that extent, and I have a major argument that I would make if it was time to speak about it, which I will on the floor of the House, I absolutely disagree respectfully with the committee that it was unconstitutional. I think most of it, if I can conclude by saying that, is derived from political adjustments, if you like, whereby some people may have felt that it is undesirable to seem to look like some constituencies are going in a bigger number to certain regions, and so it may not sit in very well politically. And because we are politicians, even those that sat in that committee, there is a likelihood that many may feel that if we go this way, then it may give the impression that our people are denied and others are given.